It's a lot of work.
Agenda, you all need agendas? You have one?
You don't have one?
Well, I'll go get one, but do you have one?
Oh, yeah, I need one. Thank you.
Hey, Jamie. What's shot?
Shad.
That's it? Who are we missing? Oh, Dustin. What's up? Nothing.
No, it got continued, so we're going to do the
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, October 1st, 2024 council meeting to session. With that, can I have a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, can I have roll call, please?
Rebecca Smith.
Here.
Rashad Bates. Here. Tiffany Hendley. William McCoy. Lauren Hughes. Here. Dustin Queenan.
Here.
Thomas LaPera.
Here. Do I have a motion to approve the previous minutes?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The ayes have it. Executive session announcement. We had an executive session tonight on personnel. Mr. Vice President, any announcements?
If anybody needs a translator, we have Jess in the back that can offer you one. Montgomery County, Norristown Library on October 9th at 2 p.m. on Wednesday is partner with Oak Street Health to bring you 2 workshops in October. One's a diabetes nutrition class, which I think is very, very important. And also October 23rd at 2 p.m. for senior citizens, navigating Medicare. That's all I have. Anybody else?
Oh, yeah. This Friday at Norristown Area High School is our homecoming. I believe it starts at 7 p.m. So if you want to come out and support the Norristown Eagles, 7 p.m.
Or any other announcements? Being none, public comment. Madam Secretary.
Imani Terry. You can come up.
We believe that you guys were acting in an unjust way by our side and was taken down last time the police chief was up there. So this, I feel, is sexist and unjust. My grandmother did go get a sign as well that was taken down, which she will likely be put back up.
Thank you.
Representing the MSS Lodge here in Norristown. Come to the attention of the council. Our organization has been here in this town for 120 years, and we just celebrated our 120th year this past August with a street procession on the east end of Norristown, which it's always been. We have adjusted the procession route over the years for numerous reasons, and every year I, as a feast chairman, and I'm also an officer of the organization, apply for permits for our procession, and the council always signs off on them, and so does the police and the fire departments, and we're grateful for that. And the reason I'm coming here today is we had a situation that occurred this year that's very disheartening for us. We're trying to continue our tradition and be part of this community, and we want to stay here. This is where our home is where our ancestors came from Shaka, Sicily, to here. And this is the first year that we never had any police presence at our at our procession. And the reason why that's a factor for us, and I'm concerned about it, is that it's the safety of the procession and the people that are in it, and also the community will respect police officers more than they'll respect anybody else if safety is of concern. And we've always had at least one police officer in front to lead our procession and one in the rear to keep anybody from running up on us. The last 2 years, Fire Chief Tom O'Donnell has done a great job having the fire police there for us. This year they did a tremendous job because it's the second year in a row this basically the same people were there, and the traffic flowed fairly well, and I was very, very pleased with that. What I wasn't pleased with was the lack of the police presence, and we almost weren't able to have our procession because there was cars parked in front of Holy Savior Church on the 400 block of East Main Street. And those of you who are not familiar with the church, there's an entrance that comes out of the left side of the church if you're facing the church. And it's a ramp that comes down, and that's where we bring the statue out on a big platform, and there's 25 guys that carry her, and long pillars and everything. And there was cars parked right there. And so when their cars were parked there, I called the police, and they came out, and the officer came, and he said, you know, what's the problem? And I stated to him that these cars need to be towed from here or moved before this procession can proceed. And so he called in, and what we did, we went door to door after he ran the license plates of these cars, and we were able to get the most important one moved, but a couple of them we were unable to locate the owners of the vehicles, and they weren't towed. And I requested that they be towed, and the police officer that was in charge here at I guess at the hall said they cannot be towed because.
Thank you, sir.
Gretchen?
I also have Dr. Jacqueline Bailey Davis sign. I think it's disrespectful that she should have no place to park. She's the leader of the police, and it would be very embarrassing if Officer Butterworth, another hero, would have to put a boot on her car. And Benjamin, who does the parking, is very accurate, and it would look disgraceful if there was a boot on the police chief's car. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey council, how you guys doing? My name's Sean Sharsig. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Just want to stop by again. We still need some help on Church Street. There's been no progress. Anything, any advice, greatly appreciated. Please help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to Municipal Administrator. Motion to grant a limited waiver from Section 133-311 of the Norristown Code of Ordinances to Spohn Ranch for the specialty concrete and related specialty work by Spohn Ranch technicians and employees for the Poley Skatepark project. Mr. Leitner.
I'm sorry, this is the limited waiver? Is that the one?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. So we're asking for a motion to grant this limited waiver in order for us to go ahead and move forward with the Spohn Ranch. This waiver is actually allowing us to use specialty concrete workers in order to do the special concrete for the actual skate park.
Seeing none, do I have a motion to grant the limited waiver from Section 133-3?
Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Shad Bates. William McCoy. Lauren Hughes. Justin Queenan.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it, motion passes. Finance, Resolution Number 24-99, request of council for approval of the minimum municipal obligation to be budgeted for the police, fire, and non-uniform pension plans for the fiscal year of 2025. Ms. Pfister.
Good evening, council. I'm requesting approval of this resolution for 2025's minimum municipal obligation. The police pension plan, the minimum obligation is $2,668,339. Firefighter, $670,242. Labor pension plan, $106,132. And the ICMA plan, $80,332.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 24-99?
So moved.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Shad Bates. William McCoy. Lauren Hughes. Justin Queenan.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it, resolution passes. Planning Municipal Development, Resolution 24-88, granting final plan approval to MM Partners LLC and DAJ Main and DeKalb LLC for the development of a 7-story mixed-use building at 69 East Main Street.
Sorry about that. What I'll do is I had the opportunity to have a conversation, I know informationally with you. Had an opportunity to talk to Ms. Massagne, Ted, and Mark before this meeting. Mark Kaplan, the attorney for the applicant, raised some concerns with this approval resolution that was distributed, and had the opportunity to have some dialogue. And I may ask some clarification from other parties because we were talking about this as soon as a half hour ago. So just want to make sure I get this right. So you have the resolution that's here before council right here. And one of the concerns that Mr. Kaplan raised that he would like taken out of the resolution for council's consideration tonight is actually point number 1, which refers to the preliminary land development application resolution 2478. After talking to our other professionals, they were okay with that because they've complied with all the conditions in here. So we could recommend to council, we don't feel that's necessary at this point. Number 2, prior to the recording of plans for plans-related comments, issuance of permits and non-related plan comments, set forth with all conditions of the Pannoni review letter dated September 19, 2024. We had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Kaplan and our other professionals before this meeting. As you know, it's been a challenging real estate market, and many developers have had difficulties getting financing. And one of the things that banks and lenders are looking for is some clean review letters. So what we decided to do is, obviously, we can't go wholesale through the September 19th, 2024 letter at this point and take everything out. But what we will agree to is Pannoni and or Mr. Kaplan's engineer will go through the letter, find out what may be extraneous, what may be important, and Pannoni will issue a new letter that will be referenced as part of number 2. So I believe all our professionals were okay with this approach. Number 3, subsequent to the completion of development, applicant shall prepare a post-development evaluation of the peak traffic patterns at the intersection of Main and DeKalb to document actual traffic impact of the site and to implement optimized traffic signal timing as recommended in the Pannoni review letter. I'd ask Ted to comment about specifically what we may be looking for on this to kind of narrow the issue.
We'll know through a post-construction traffic analysis. Once we know that, then that will tell us whether we need to optimize that lane or not.
Okay. So we would limit that review to that. You would be comfortable with that?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right. All right, let's see, I don't believe 4 was an issue, which related to the fire marshal's review letter. I don't believe 5 was an issue related to the EDUs. As far as compliance with the conditional use decision of September 5th, 2023, we don't recommend waiving that requirement. Number 7, prior to the issuance of any permits, preparation of a blanket stormwater, that's okay. 8, prior to the issuance of any permits, there has to be a land development agreement, financial security agreement, and outstanding fees. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. None of these other conditions seem controversial except, and I'll leave this to Mr. Kaplan, and maybe something I missed. But when we get to the waivers in 7 and 8, which deal with the Parks and Recreation fee and the dedicated Parks and Recreational fee and the fee in lieu of, which are 7 and 8, it was determined, obviously, this is a dense urban development, and while fees like this are appropriate, perhaps the way our ordinance was constructed doesn't fully account for the topography of the land and where this is in Norristown. So rather than calculating it based on per the review letters as is tied to our ordinance, what will happen is our engineer will get with their engineer and run it past our municipal administrator and the applicant's attorney and look at what may be a reasonable reduction of those fees based on that. And that staff would be willing to agree to that. Sounds like Mr. Kaplan was okay with that. And anything else?
Yeah, just one, come back to compliance with the conditional use approval.
Okay.
The conditional use approval was before the preliminary plan approval and is before now, which would be final approval. And you're making it conditioned on complying with the conditional use approval. I went back and I read it. I don't know what it is that survives in that conditional use approval that hasn't already been implemented at either the preliminary approval or now. To just say that we're subject to a conditional use decision that was 10 or 15 pages leaves it just too vague. Tell me.
Well, you're better than me, Mr. Kaplan, because I haven't read that conditional use approval except when I was helping to draft it a while ago. So I haven't looked at it that specifically with an eye for that. That's standard language we include in many of our resolutions. What I would agree with you is I will have my office, myself and Patrick, will have an opportunity to review it. What we can do is we can maybe craft a condition here that it will be relevant language from that conditional use approval in case there's something.
Let me suggest
Sure.
something. Let me suggest something. I believe that there is a condition. John, I hate to put you on the spot, but on your plans, you took a condition out of the conditional use application, and you put it right on the plans. We looked at it the other day.
Yes.
Can you put your finger on that, or can you tell us what it said?
I can tell you where it says. It's on the overall site plan for the project. It's the signature plan for the project. But we took basically the verbiage from the conditional use hearing right out of the Pannoni letter, just I take it off what was said, and it's just basically we stated what the conditions, what sections we were requesting conditional use approval from, and what the conditions were, just indicating that we would comply.
There's a provision that sort of wraps it up, very general, and we've already put it on the plan. We can talk about that, you and I, or Pat, or Ted, whatever. I just don't want a lender.
Well, we can agree to, relevant conditions as determined by the applicant and the municipality's professionals, and
That's
we have to
fine.
do that.
That's fine.
So I don't want to sign off on that without having read it in a long time, so. Yeah.
The note on the plans basically says conditional use approval, September 5th, 2023. It lists the 2 sections we're requesting the conditional use approval for, and then states, the applicant shall apply with all applicable decisions of the Norristown Zoning Hearing Board.
Sure.
Which there are none, because we never had to go to.
Yeah.
So go ahead, keep going, John.
Applicable conditions contained in public approvals and agreements with Norristown Council and the Redevelopment Authority of Montgomery County and all.
And we have a very comprehensive agreement of sale with the municipality and the authority,
yeah.
having to do with deed restrictions, guarantees that the building that will be built, so that's already built in. Go ahead.
And all applicable representations made by the applicant and/or their agents during public meetings at Norristown Council. And those, that statement was taken verbatim out of the approval.
That's that's already there. Take a look at the rest of it. I think it gets wrapped up in that. And is that it?
I believe that's it. I mean, unless the council has questions.
So let me give some good news. I talked to our engineer, our architects today. The building plans are 85–90% complete. We're waiting on the plans from the MEP engineers, mechanical, electric, and plumbing. Expect to have them in the middle of October, and we will be submitting the building plans. And they will go through the review process, the normal review process, and then based on the agreement of sale, you get to approve them. And ultimately, when we go to closing, there is a guarantee to the municipality that that building will be built, and we've built into the original agreement of sale that type of bonding. So we're rounding the curve and coming down the back stretch. Now all we got to do is continue to put the financing together, and we can get there.
Fantastic news. Thank you. So, seeing no questions from council.
So I would recommend a motion to approve the resolution and waivers, subject to the agreement of the parties on the record, the modifications made by the parties on the record this evening. Then we'll recraft this.
So do I have a motion to approve Resolution 24-88 with the provisions stated by Solicitor Kilkenny?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Rashad Bates. William McCoy. Lauren Hughes. Dustin Queenan.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution passes. Thank you. Going into departmental reports, we'll start off with police. Chief Bailey Davis.
Good evening, Council President, Vice President, council members. In the interest of my 7-minute time limit, I will proceed immediately. Sir. The Norristown Police Department has 3 strategic major goals and objectives. Number 1 is community policing, to improve police and community relationships through the following objectives, which is to educate and provide resources to victims of crime on their rights and services. Also increase non-enforcement engagement between police and the community to build trust and transparency. And lastly, for us to work with the community so that we can be co-producers of public safety. In the interest of having our goals and objectives met for the month and throughout the year, Norristown Police Department has completed in this month 49 victim support surveys by which individuals who are victims of crime, we have our community liaison person go out and actually within 24 to 48 hours, convene with the victim of crime, making sure that they have their victim's compensation information and any other additional resources. In addition, our mental health coordinator has conducted 64 mental health referrals for the month of August, assessing and referring individuals who have had mental health crises. Also, MPD hosted and attended over 12 events during the month of August. I have moved my monthly Chiefs Night In from weekly to monthly. I met with 3 residents. We also have partnered with local, community, regional, and international law enforcement agencies. We partner with the Philadelphia Civilian Police Oversight Commission to actually host a Mandela Fellow from the Seychelles, Africa. We also had the Pathonetary Office come in and provide roll call training to officers about the New Hope Card, which they came here last session.
Also, we met with the Civil Service Commission to have a meeting with them regarding some modifications of particular regulations. We've had safety conversations with community members at various churches of different backgrounds. We also have our community police service area meetings, which serves as our CompStat meetings, by which individual supervisors in each police service area throughout the municipality of Norristown does in fact meet with community members in that particular area to talk about crimes that are occurring and how we can work together to resolve these issues and combat crime. Also, we've had welcoming students back to Bloxham Middle School, back to school night roundtables. Also, we've continued with our NORCAM. We have 50 registrants, And also for the month of August, we started preparing and finalizing our Civilian Police Academy, which started on September 21st. Our second strategic major goal is organizational excellence, whereby we will utilize smart and best practices to ensure effective and efficient operations, as well as accountability to ourselves and to our community and to the council. We have revised and created new policies and procedures, provided professional development via training for sworn and professional staff members. We've also implemented and practiced risk management by the following. To date, we have 24 supplemental policies that we've needed to help supplement our current policies. All of our sworn personnel have been recertified within the first 6 months of the year. Also, we've provided covert supervisory and disciplinary training for our personnel. MPD has actually partnered with the probation department to conduct supervision checks of parolees, sort of doing a modified focus to turn initiative with this particular initiative with the probation department. We also have implemented the 5 recommendations from the Center for Public Safety Management. We've utilized patrol logs for accountability to determine the uncommitted time of our officers, to making sure that when the officers are not involved in a call for service, that they're utilizing their time wisely to either be proactive or even reactive in certain particular situations to combat crime and meet with the neighbors, talk with individuals, and getting them on board with partnering with the police. We also have been conducting comprehensive investigations regarding complaints, and also conducting audits and inspections with our police use of force and body-worn camera videos via police technology. Next slide, please. Our third and final goal, strategic goal, is to ensure that we utilize proactively and reactive strategies to combat crime, by way of educating police and community on crime, identify and implement crime strategies to combat crime, and track and utilize our data. And we've done so by the following. We fervently utilize the police website, social media, and door-to-door canvases to make the community aware and educate them on the particular crime that's occurring, in addition to our community CompStat meetings, which, as I said, are held in specific police geographical areas called geopolicing. We also utilize our daily intelligence meetings between command staff, supervisory staff, to go over crime and different patterns and clusters, things of that nature, our community CompStat meetings, and our partnered initiatives with our back-to-school safety roundtables. In addition, we utilize the crime strategy of problem-oriented policing, one of my favorite crime strategies, because they identify the root causes of the crime, and they actually put particular things in place to respond to that crime. MPD utilizes crime strategies of target hardening. You want to decrease the opportunity to commit a crime. Usually you do that by, for example, doing unscheduled security checks. We have our VIP cards that we use when we utilize the checks to sort of leave a receipt to let people know that we're checking on them. We have directed patrols. We offer steering wheel locks because we've had an issue with auto thefts. Also, target removal, making sure that you do not have anything that attracts an individual to committing a crime, such as leaving your wallet or your laptop on your passenger side seat or your driver's side seat. MPD utilizes ShotSpotter. We've had 19 activations, 12 were founded, and only one person called 911 with regard to these shots being fired, and 3 had no ShotSpotter activations. With regard to mapping and analysis, we actually utilize pen maps and heat maps. So we identify with the pen maps and the heat maps, we identify clusters of crime, And when we review in our intelligence meetings, when we have a conversation with the command staff and the supervisory staff, we're able to review the modus operandi of our offenders to determine if in fact that we have patterns. So let's talk about some crime. Crime for the month of August in comparison from 2023 to 2024 is down 17%, despite the fact that we have some staffing shortages. I can tell you that there's been a decrease in aggravated assaults, burglary, and auto thefts. As you can see here, we went from 9 aggravated assaults to 3. Excuse me, and we went from, if you look at the burglaries, from 13 to 7, as well as the auto thefts, the 18 down to 7. So overall, we had 17%. One of the most important things I need you all to understand, council and community at large, is when you're talking about crime and you're trying to figure out proactively or reactively how to combat crime, you have to understand the elements of a crime. The elements of a crime are location, victim, and offender. And when you have one of those absent, you don't have a crime. So in this case, where we have elevated increases of robberies, as you can see here, 7 out of our 10 robberies, there have been Latinx members who've been targeted. So our response to that, and also prior to that being proactive in our efforts, we've conducted fear reduction surveys throughout the community. We've had community meetings. We've actually been intentional, authentic and intentional about meeting Latinx community members where they are, whether it's at a Latinx community nonprofit organization such as Aclamo or any of the Catholic churches where they are or in their communities. We've been actually touching base with them, telling them how to protect themselves and safeguard themselves. We also know that based upon our mapping and analysis, pen mapping, that the times of the robberies have occurred between 7 p.m. and 11:45 p.m., so we're putting measures in place for that now. With regard to the thefts, as you can see, they're slightly elevated. The thefts are due to incidences that are attributed to lapses in judgment. People are leaving, let's say, cell phones in particular places, they come back and the cell phone is missing, so that's a theft. A great deal of thefts have been elevated due to things of lapse in judgment or just carelessness on community members. Next slide, please. So year-to-date overall, we actually have an increase of 9%. And the areas that we're really targeting right now is the robberies and some of the burglaries, and those actually have been dropping. Between the months of May through July, we've actually had arrest of serial burglar, as well as a serial robber. Next slide, please. So we've had plenty of arrests throughout this year, but some of our major arrests in this particular month have been 2 arrests for weapons offenses, 2 arrests for individuals shooting their firearms, shots fired, and also 2 individuals who were arrested for theft of motor vehicles, and 1 aggravated assault, which resulted subsequently in the search warrant, which recovered 5 guns and 1 aggravated assault. Thank you. Are there any questions? Thank you, I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Next up, Fire. Chief O'Donnell.
Good evening, members of Municipal Council. Your operational summary for the month of September. 120 incidents. Average response time was 4 minutes and 26 seconds. The busiest day of the week was Tuesday at 10 a.m. Number of firefighter injuries were 1. Number of civilian injuries, 4. Number of fire safety inspections completed, 58. Public education projects, there was 21. Year-to-date operational summaries, smoke detector installations. There was a total of 109 so far this year, with a total of 972 properties visited. Total out-of-service hours for apparatus are 2,216. Average number of training sessions was 1,186, with a total number of training hours 4,342. One other highlight was the exceptional work by on-duty police and fire personnel on the morning of September 10th, where they together rescued 5 people from a burning home on Cherry Street. So again, quite proud of our staff and their efforts at the wee hours in the morning and coincidentally working smoke alarms, right? Saved and made the day possible. Thank you.
Council, any questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Public Works. Mr. Odenabo.
Good evening, Council. The administrator told me I have 5 minutes, so I'm going to make sure I work within my time limits. The first thing I want to talk about, Public Works has a matrix of operation that we standardize so much, and how it's so well created. I know exactly what people are doing, how many people are supposed to do it every day, and the productivity. So it makes it very easy for me to track what we're doing, and this has been working. Next, so just for the council to know we have this. So move to next page. Yeah, I want to talk about some upcoming events, and I want the council to note that we will start our leaf pickup on October 21st, and it will go on till December 9. Hopefully we will not get snow before then, but we try to finish it as early as possible, so that because it's the same equipment that we're going to be using to plow snow. So just for everyone to know, leaf pickup starts October 21st and will go on till December 9. Another upcoming event I want to talk about is that we are going to have a city-wide sweep. That this is something we do twice a year. We do it first Saturday in April and first Saturday in November. So we get dumpsters, 16 dumpsters placed in 9 locations in the community. And we give the public, our residents, the opportunity to dump whatever they want to dump there. So this is just for everyone to know that we're going to have it starting on November 2nd. It starts at 6 a.m. until the 16 dumpsters are full. I just want to make sure we know about it. Then I'm going to talk about some right-of-way things we've done this year. But before I talk about it, I want the council to recognize that every year, every month, we approve, move to the next year. This is actually something that gives an idea. We have a software that we use for our right-of-way issues. But on the whole, we have an average of about 50 approvals of right-of-way things we do every month. And up to date, I think we have about 494. So just for the council to know. So these right-of-way issues includes work done on sidewalk, street closure, work done on streets. But there's one thing that we've been doing that I really appreciate, if you move to the next page. That's an agreement I had with the water company about 8 years ago that I came to this community. And that is allowing them to work on a right-of-way. They pay all the necessary fees, but at the end, they'll be able to pave our street from curb to curb. So it's something that I made this arrangement with them, and in all honesty, they have kept to that. 2 years ago, they wanted to renege, and then I petitioned them again. Somebody came from the headquarters and said that they should keep doing it for us. So this year alone, they have not finished, but this year alone, we benefited 5 miles of street paid for free in Norristown. And since we started this program, we have about 22 miles of street that have been paid by the water company for free of charge in Norristown. In fact, virtually every paving you see in this community is done by the water company. So this was when we actually, these are some of the streets. The list is some of the streets that have been paid by the water company. So just for everyone to know. If you actually go to the southwest part of our community, you can see that virtually, and I'm going to show the paving. This page, yeah. You can see that virtually every street in the southwest of our community has been paved, curb to curb, striped. And you cannot beat that kind of deal. It's done for free. It was this agreement that I had with the water company 8 years ago, and they've kept to it. And I just wanted the council to appreciate it too. The next thing I want to talk about is potholes. The one thing that has been happening to this community is that if we have a street paved, the number of potholes that we patch will reduce. When I came here 8 years ago, we were patching about 900 potholes a week. 900 potholes a week. So right now, the potholes we patch now is about 250, because with the water company and PICO, they've helped us to pave most of our streets. So it's really working. And then again, we started paving alleys. We pave alleys in-house, so it's reduced the number of potholes. So, you know. Also, for the whole year, we probably paved about 1,460 potholes. The next one, I want us to move to the next page. This is, when I came here, we started paving, and we started paving alleys in our community. So we are paving alleys now. So this is when we are prepping the alleys for paving. So the next slide will show the alleys that we paved in-house. Just for people to know, up till today, as of today, we have paved 63 alleys in-house in this community. This started since 8 years ago that I came to this community. And most of the alleys that we pave, we don't just pave alleys that we see. We rated all the alleys in this community on a scale of 1 to 5. And the alleys have been so bad that up till now, we're still paving alleys that are rated 1. So we are paving alleys now. So this is probably alleys that we paved last week. We're going to be paving tomorrow. We keep paving, and that's what we keep doing till the pickup comes. One other thing I want to talk about is crack sealing. You know, I'm sure many of you know that I'm a professional engineer, even though I don't function as an engineer here, but I'm registered. One thing that when I came here, I noticed that some of our streets, we do not actually start maintenance quite early. So by the time we get there, it becomes late. So we bought a crack sealing machine. So if you look at it, we are using it to actually go to those new streets that are newly paved, that have little cracks, so that we can seal it, so that we can protect the life of the road. So that's what we've actually done that in 23 locations. So the crack sealing machine is working very fine. It's actually a very good investment that we've done, because it will help to prolong our streets. The next thing that we've done very much this year, more than other years, just for instance to know, is striping the streets in our community. As at now, we have striped 255 crosswalks and stop bars all over in different parts of the community. So we've been very busy this summer. So that's what we're doing there. The next thing, which I'm sure we see every day, is street sweeping. We sweep 343 streets in this community every week. And then we travel about 410 miles every week. So we put 410 miles in this vehicle every week when we sweep. And then we sweep 343 streets. This is a new the next one is a new program that we started, and is working out very well. And I'm going to tell you why it's even working out more, because there's a committee work recently that the administrator, Mr. Leitner, initiated. I'm going to talk about it later, what the role we played. This is a sidewalk sweeper. We use it to sweep the business districts. We try to sweep the business district twice a month. And when we're talking about the business district now, we're talking about Main Street, and then DeKalb, and then Marshall. So the business owners like it, and so, but I just want the council to know that this is something we do. We do 2 times a month. We started this program in May. The next thing I want to show, which many of us see, we have 14 parks and many other open spaces in this community. We make sure we mow each of them at least once a week. And we start this in May. We start this in April. And we try to end it in October. But if for any reason, depending on weather, we go up to November 1. One thing that is one thing I want everyone to understand that the same people that mow this are the same people that we use to patch potholes. They are the same people that we use to do leaf pickup. So after a time, it's that they are so how much we can do. So I just want to make sure that the council knows that we do this. And I really think it's been a big success this year because I've not received any complaint about park, maintenance. One thing that we have been collaborating very well with the police is tree trimming. We've been working with the police, letting us know, and then we were doing that in the parks too. But tree trimming, there are many areas that because of the trees there, it becomes very dark at night. So they show us those areas, and then we'll go there to actually trim the trees for them. So that's tree trimming going on there. The next one, this is something people cannot understand, that we have 2 dedicated employees that go around this community every day picking trash. These are employees that we could use for some other things. But because of things, these are the kind of trash we pick. If we do not pick it, you see them. So that's a staff actually loading something into a truck. But picking up trash is something that we take it very serious in this community. Just for everyone to know, we pick the business district 3 times a week. Then we looked at our community, and then there are certain areas, there are 15 streets that we consider as strategic arterials. These streets run from south to north and east to west. And we try to make sure that we pick them twice a week. And then we pick the parks daily. So municipal parks are picked up, we pick trash in them daily. No matter how you see it, just know that we pick trash there daily. We take it very serious. The next thing another trash thing we do is mascaro. This is something that each time I look at it, I consider a success story in this community. There was a time that people were not picked for 2 weeks in this community. And I wrote another spec that we started 5 years ago. And just to let you know, at that point in time, I was getting 100 calls a day from residents complaining about trash, about their trash not being picked. Then we wrote another spec that we wrote 4 years ago. And I'm going to tell you, in a whole week, we get about 2 calls about trash now. So it really is one of the things I feel very happy where we are. And one other reason that has made it possible that the city and Mascaro started trusting each other, and it has really helped. Then we have what you see there is called Big Belly. It's the name of the company. But we have 2 locations of Big Belly in this community, and it's working out well. The residents are using this Big Belly. It is something that I saw as a game changer, because before the Big Belly came, and I want to give a lot of credit about this belly to Mr. Crandall Jones. He was the person that told me that I should look for Big Belly. We had some kind of hope, things that we kept around. And we found out that people did not really use them. Or even if they use them, they put things around instead of, but right now, most of those areas, when I drive to them, I feel very happy because people are really using this Big Belly. Then the next thing I want to talk about is that we have actually, the city has invested a lot of money in the parks, and we are doing our best to make sure that those parks look very good. We've done we spent time to do a lot of fencing, maintaining the fences in some of our parks. So this is just to give people an idea of the kind of fence we have. So this is Walnut, and then Cherry Street Park. There's a park maintenance that we're doing now, and that is at MLK. MLK is going to be installing new equipment there, so we are removing the old things there. So Public Works is doing that. That is something we're doing as I'm talking to you. The last but not the least is, not actually the last, but we are getting ready for snow and ice control. And why I start preparing for it now is that I know that most time, it's as soon as the leaf pickup is over, that's where we get to. So I don't have time to really, So we're creating routes and actually making sure that we have everything ready our salt, we were in an agreement with different communities for salt. So what we try to do even before we start buying salt is that we try to buy first so that we can make sure that they know, we can estimate the delivery time so that when we start the snow and the ice control, then we know how to place this order. So we started planning for snow, but just to let the council know that that's already in process. Then the last thing I want to talk about is something that was initiated by Leonard, the administrator. And I really thought it was great that we did it. What he did was that he met with some community members. We walked on Main Street, and we dealt with those issues. Main Street, the business district. If you go to the business district of Main Street and DeKalb now, you can really see the difference. So that's what we've been doing. We've been very busy, and I'll be ready to answer questions that the council will have.
Council, any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very thorough.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. The ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.